All right. Hey, everybody. I'm going live for a full hip mobility and deadlifting workout. I've got Instagram going and my YouTube channel. So just bear with me for a moment as I set up here. All right. I think everything looks like it's working. Let's do this. Doing this just as a fun opportunity to work out with me or just watch me work out, I guess. We're going to start with some hip cars and then get into some more strength-based things. But a lot of the stuff we're doing today is going to focus on our hip mobility to kind of like decompress our hips and our low back and just make sure everything's feeling good before we get into some deadlifts with some kettlebells. So yeah, if you're ready to work out with me. Here we go. We're going to start on hands and knees. So just get yourself down into tabletop and just set your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Protract away from the floor with those scaps engaged, chest fully open, and then just squeeze your left calf tight to your hamstring. You're going to lift that knee and start to pull it forward toward your chest, and then drive it up and out to the left. Start to rotate back, internally rotate, then you get your leg behind you and just drive that hamstring into engagement as much as you can. And then just lower the knee, take a breath, and we're going to reverse that, driving back into hip extension first. Keep pushing away from the floor with those arms. Sweep the leg to the side. Rotate that knee back toward your chest. Bring it down and rest. We're going to do just one more rep like that, just making it as smooth as you can. Here we go. And I've got a knee brace on still. I don't know if any of you have been following along with my injury, but in January, I had a snowboarding accident and had a bone contusion of my tibia, and it was super painful. Bone contusions just take a long time to heal because they're like a fracture without anything actually breaking in the bone. But it's a really bad bone bruise. Before we do the other side, we're going to come up into tall kneeling position, reach our arms forward, and just go through some scap cars. You can have your hands open or hands and fists, keeping the rest of the body stable. We're going to retract our scaps first. Glide up toward our ears. Push forward, protracting, and glide down. Let's just do two more in that direction. Just getting as much range of motion as we can. Awesome. And we're just getting our body prepped for our deadlifting. So we're just taking our time to warm everything up. Now just reverse it for 3 reps, protracting forward. I'm trying to maintain stability in my rib cage and my pelvis and my head and neck as I move through my scapula. So just make sure you're not compensating anything as you move through this. One more in that direction. Awesome. And then I'm just going to turn around so you guys can see my right hip. We're going to do 2 reps of the hip car on the right side. Okay? So here we go. Just squeeze that calf tight to your hamstring, protract your scaps, pushing away from the floor, and then pull that knee forward first. You're then going to sweep that leg out and up to the right, drive back into hip extension as you internally rotate behind you. Try to feel that hamstring engage, that glute engage. Bring it down. And now just reverse it, driving up into hip extension. Sweep the leg to the side. Externally rotate and pull that knee back forward. Awesome. We're just going to do one more rep. Here we go. Just moving through as much range of motion as you can while maintaining stability in the rest of the body. We're trying to isolate the hip joint and reach this full range of motion with muscular engagement rather than just passively stretching. This is a great way to truly warm up your muscles. Okay, and then we're going to get into a standing position, and we're going to go into an isometric hip hinge and work through some engagement of our abdominals, trying to get as much T-spine extension as we can while drawing the rib cage in and back. So it's going to feel kind of counterintuitive. But what I want you to do is just have your feet hips width distance. We're just going to basically get into a hip hinge like a deadlifting position. But I'm going to keep my hands just on my legs right at the base of my knee. And I'm going to press my hands into my knees. And I'm going to imagine like my knees are pushing forward into my hands as well. So I have some force pushing in both directions. And then I'm going to pull my chest open and forward, extending my T-spine, but then draw my rib cage in and back as if I'm trying to do an abdominal crunch, but I'm not actually going to round my spine. My hamstrings are lengthening, and I'm trying to load back into my glutes here. And we're just going to build up tension with all of those opposing engagements. It should almost feel like a plank when you're doing it right. Build up to your max effort, and then hold for 10 seconds here. Every inhale, trying to extend the T-spine a little further. Every exhale, trying to wrap the rib cage in a little deeper. 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Sweet. Okay, and then we're going to go into a little hip flexion drill with a really light kettlebell. So this one is only 4 kilograms, so it's roughly about 8 pounds, and I'm going to use it to load my hip flexors. So I'm going to put my toes in it. If you have shoes on, it might feel a little more comfortable, but for me, it's not too bad. But we're just going to take a nice big breath in, standing tall on our opposite leg, and then we're going to exhale into hip flexion, lifting that kettlebell. Inhale as we lower it down, and exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Just 3 more reps on this side. Just trying to move into as much hip flexion as we can as we exhale and feel that engagement on a deep level to help stabilize our body. One more rep here. Awesome. And then we're just going to switch legs. So just set yourself up with the opposite leg in the bell handle. Stand tall on that grounded foot and leg. Hands can be in fists or down by your side. And just take a nice big breath in. And then exhale. Pull that bell up. Inhale as you lower it. Exhale. Inhale. And we're trying to get as much hip flexion as we can without really altering our pelvic position. So we're trying to avoid the hips and that side of the pelvis like hiking up. So if you start to notice that your body's compensating in that way, you want to try to keep your butt cheek heavy and really just isolate the muscular engagement in the front of the hip, making sure that we're keeping everything else stable. Okay, so that drill out of the way, and then we're going to go into some of the beast and the beast to plank. We're going to walk in and out of a plank position with our knees hovering off the ground. So I like to think about this like a shoulder stability drill, right? Because it's going to be tempting for your body to shift weight backwards. But we're going to try to keep our chest pulling forward and our shoulders protracting, our shoulders right over our wrists, and then curl your toes under, lift the knees a little bit off the ground, and you're going to walk one foot back at a time into your plank, and then back forward one at a time into that beast with the knees still covered off the floor, and we're going to repeat that. And just maintaining position again with your shoulders, trying to avoid that shift back as your legs walk back behind you. One more time. And then rest those knees down. Whew. And then we're going to stand back up and just go into some side lunges. So just grab a light-ish bell. We've got a 12 kilogram bell. So not super light, but just enough to load my body a little bit. We're still warming up, okay? And we're just gonna have our legs start in our nice wide position here, and then we're gonna go into a hip hinge, staying on one side for 8 reps, and then we'll switch to the other side. We're gonna focus on getting a pelvic floor activation as we exhale and push away from the floor. So as we hinge and inhale, our pelvic floor muscles naturally open up and relax. And then as you exhale, we're going to try to get a nice gentle support from underneath in our pelvic floor, not like a squeezing and tightening, not like a Kegel, but a full pelvic floor gentle support and a nice slower activation of those muscles. All right, so here we go. We're going to have the bell on the opposite hand of the leg that we're bending into. You can put your right hand on your right hip, and we're going to hinge into the right side as we inhale, and then exhale, feeling that pelvic floor activation as we stand tall. It's important not just for pregnancy and postpartum recovery, but for everyone to know how to properly breathe and engage our pelvic floor muscles in a way that creates support and strength without creating tightness and dysfunction. And that's what you see a lot in certain fitness arenas. You see a lot of pelvic floor tightness, a lot of pelvic floor dysfunction. Last rep, because people are putting unwarranted pressure on their pelvic floor as they exhale and breathe and produce force, because they're unaware basically of the proper way to breathe, the proper way to engage their pelvic floor and their glutes and their hips. I remember a long time ago when I was becoming a personal trainer, someone taught me to squeeze my glutes as tight as I could every time I came up out of a deadlift or a squat or a lunge, to feel my glute muscles engage, right? When in reality, you don't need to do that. And that squeezing and tightening and clenching of the muscles in our glutes especially really just leads to dysfunctional things happening in our pelvic floor, which can lead to hypertonic pelvic floor muscles or incontinence, leakage, not just for women, but for men too. So it's an important aspect of strength training, especially when you're thinking about, as you're getting older, the ability to, hold your urine, not poop yourself, it's a big deal. We don't all want to end up wearing adult diapers later on in life. Okay, we're going to do one more little round of that circuit. Just going to make sure there's no questions or anything. Okay, we're going to start off with that isometric position again. I'll face this way this time. Okay, feet hips width distance. And just make sure all 10 toes are facing forward. You want your second toe really facing forwards for you rather than your big toe to help create more stability in your ankle and feet. And then we're going to get back into that hip hinge position with our hands pressing into the front of our knees, and our knees are going to press back into our hands. We're going to try to pull our sternum forward and open. At the same time, I'm going to try to wrap my rib cage in and back as if I'm trying to do an abdominal crunch. And we're going to hold here building up maximum effort. Five, four, three, two, one. And rest. Go ahead, just stand tall. Awesome. We're going to grab that really light kettlebell and do our hip flexion engagement as we stand again. Okay. So just thinking about driving our knee up as we exhale. You can think about that gentle pelvic floor activation as you exhale and lift the bell. Two more. Last rep. And then just rest the bell down, switch sides, 5 reps on this side. Just getting as much active range of motion as you can. Here we go. Two more. Good, rest that down. We're gonna go back in the beast position and do the beast to plank again. So just trying to keep our shoulders as stable as we can. Curl the toes under, starting in this bent leg position. Push away the floor, and then walking back to the plank, and then back to the beast. We're just doing about 40 seconds of this. So not a super long time, but enough time to really challenge our abdominals, challenge our ability to stay protracted in our scaps. Just keep moving steady. I think it's starting to rain. I might have to move into the garage, people. Oh yeah, it's starting to rain. Okay. Got to get my laptop and phone in the garage here. I'll just, maybe I can do it. I don't want you to drop it. It's all good. Woo! Didn't realize it had started raining till just a few seconds ago. Okay, we're going to take, whoops, can you grab the tripod? Take a little mini break. Head into the garage here. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, I'm gonna need that little table. Lights on. Okay. Lights, camera, action. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Is this an okay view? I think the laptop will have to go here. Why does my laptop look so dark? Oh, the brightness was going down because of the water on here. Oh dear. Okay. Whoops. Okay, I think this looks okay. Yeah. I'm just trying to wipe it gently off. There we go. That's better. Okay. Gonna do this. That looks fine. All right. Okay, getting back into our workout here in a second. Gonna grab, let's see. We need to go back into the side lunges. All right. Okay. Also just need to fix my hair because it got a little wet here. This is the joy of living in Washington State. At any moment, it can start raining. It was like perfectly sunny, beautiful, and then suddenly it started drizzling. Thank you, baby. All right, we're gonna go back into those side lunges one more round. Got a little cardio aerobic break there, moving shit around. Okay, we're gonna open up the legs, get into our nice wide position. Remember, we're trying to get that pelvic floor activation as much as we can. Let me fix the angle of the YouTube here real quick. Okay, so yeah, trying to get that gentle pelvic floor activation as you push away from the ground and come back up. Remember, it's not a tightening or a big squeeze. Thank you, Archie. My son is bringing in the yellow kettlebell. He can lift about 8.5 pounds all on his own. It's amazing, Arch. You're doing great, buddy. Yeah, look at you. Can you bring it all the way over here? Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it. Here, come further. Can you bring it all the way to the mat? Yeah. Oh, thank you, buddy. You got it. Oh, thank you. High five. Yeah. High five. Yeah. Nice. All right, go with daddy, bud. Yeah, you're on the camera.
Come on, bud. Let's go.
Go with daddy, okay? I'll see you in a little bit.
I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We gotta leave it
You're
playing.
so cute. You're just so cute.
You say goodbye. Say bye.
Bye. I love you. I love you so much. Yeah. All right, back to these side lunges. Here we go. Just getting a nice big inhale as we hinge, exhale, and that gentle pelvic floor activation. We're trying to load into this right leg, my bending leg here. So I'm really reaching that side of my hip back in space, feeling my hamstring lengthen. And my chest comes down at about a 45-degree angle. I'm keeping my spine pretty much straight, just thinking about pulling my sternum forward. Last rep. And then I'm going to turn sideways so you guys can see what that hinge position looks like from the side here as I do this other side. So I'm going to go to my left. My right hand has the kettlebell hinging over. And that gentle pelvic floor activation. Three more. Lower the bell. Awesome. Okay. We're going to move that stuff to the side. We're going to do some split stance deadlifts next. So getting into our main strength movement in this little superset here. So you're going to need either 1 or 2 kettlebells. The option is yours. I'm going to do 2 kettlebells. Heavier bell is going to be on the inside of my front foot, and the lighter bell is going to be on the outside of that foot. So I have a 20 kilogram and a 12 kilogram bell. So I'm going to have the heavier 20 kilogram bell on the inside of my front foot, holding the lighter bell on the outside. Okay, so we're going to do 8 reps with a 3-3 tempo. So we're going to stand slowly for 3 counts and then hinge back over for 3 counts. We're focusing on getting from the standing position, getting length in this front hamstring as we lower down, making sure that my chest is still a little bit above my hips as I lower back down. So I might not come all the way back down to the floor as I hinge back over, because I want to go more into that length of that hamstring versus having to let my chest go all the way down. Then I might start to feel stuff in my low back too much, right? So we're going to try to avoid that, like shearing forces on our spine as much as possible. Okay, so just thinking about that 3-3 tempo, your exhale is going to last for 3 counts, and so is your inhale. right? We're gonna lift as we exhale. We're gonna try to have a gentle pelvic floor activation as we exhale, just like we did for the side lunges. And your pelvic floor muscles will naturally relax as you hinge back over. So it should feel like a nice stretch in the hamstring of that front leg, but also a nice opening sensation in our pelvic floor and our glutes. Okay, here we go. Setting up, take a nice big breath in. Find your tension in your lats. Big inhale into the back of the rib cage. And then exhale. Stand tall. Down, 1, 2, 3. And push through the floor. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, so just keep that 3-3 tempo. Three more. Last rep. Awesome. Go ahead, just rest for a few moments. We're going to switch sides. Notice, I don't know if you could see because of the way I'm facing, but the hand that was holding the smaller bell didn't actually bring that bell all the way down to the floor, right? Because it's a shorter bell. That one, compared to the big bell on the inside of the leg, is maybe not going to reach the ground every time you hinge back over, okay? So let me actually still face the same way, and you guys can see what it looks like with this front leg facing you. Okay, so you'll notice that my left hand holding the smaller bell is going to stay a little higher up away from the floor. Well, it's the same height really as my bottom hand, my other hand, but the bell's just shorter, so it's not going to touch the ground. Okay, I'm just going to grab a quick sip of water, and then we'll do the other side for 8 reps with that 3-3 tempo. Woo! Okay, here we go. Set up in your position, find that nice deep hip hinge, chest pulling open, rib cage drawing in and back, just like that isometric drill we did earlier. And push through the floor. Down, 1, 2, 3. Every rep is a chance to stabilize at the top and find a nice big stretch as you hinge. Four left. Last rep. And set them down. Whew. It is muggy in this garage, man. All right, we're going to take some rest, just some nice active rest. And what we're going to do for this active rest is do some side lying isometric hip abduction. So we're going to lay down on our side with our legs straight, and my legs are just angled slightly in front of my torso and my hips. My bottom arm is going to be straight. This hand can just come in front of your chest, flex your toes up toward your shins, and you're going to lift your top foot just a little bit above your bottom leg and just hold. We're just trying to activate the outside of our glute medius, our hip muscles, our abductors. Take another breath, and then you're going to lift just a little bit higher. Good. Take another breath here and just lift a little bit more. Take another breath and lift as high as you can, keeping your toes facing forward, keeping the engagement in the side of your hip. Try not to turn and rotate open and use your hip flexors. You want to keep the pinky edge of your foot facing up. Hold for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just little circles in that position. 3, 2, 1, and reverse it now for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest that leg. Awesome. We're just going to flip over and do all of that on the other side. So just lay on your right side. I got AirPod case in this pocket. Okay. All right, lay on your right side. Left leg is going to lift up to hip height first, and we're just going to hold. Keeping those toes flexed up to the shins, keeping your body stable. Outside of that glute is just really working here to lift the leg. Take another breath in. Exhale, lift a little higher. Another exhale, lift a little higher. Another exhale, lift as high as you can while keeping the pinky edge of your foot turned toward the ceiling. And then we have 5 little circles in each direction, trying to maintain your height. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now reverse it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And just rest that leg down. Nice. We're going to do one more set of our split stance deadlifts. So just grab your kettlebells again, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. Whew, my booty's on fire. Here we go. Set up your bells again. Remember, heavier bell is going to be on the inside, lighter bell on the outside. So I have my right foot forward here for this facing with the heavier bell on the inside of my foot. And we're going to do 8 reps again with that 3-3 tempo, making sure that we're feeling that nice big stretch in our front hamstring, that hinge really going back into the glute, and trying to get that pelvic floor activation as you exhale, that nice, gentle, supportive lift as you exhale. All right, here we go. Take a nice big breath in at the bottom. Find your engagement, pulling that chest open and forward. And stand for 1, 2, 3. Down for 1, 2, 3. 7 more like that. Just making sure it's nice and easy on that stretch. Five more reps. Two more. Last one. Set the balls down. Woo. Okay, awesome. We got the other side. Just take like 30 seconds to breathe though. We don't want to rush into it. We want to give our body a little bit of rest before we do the other side.
And yeah, I guess I'll still face this way. Okay. Woo. It's getting warm in here, man. Okay. Left foot forward now. Take a few moments to make sure your setup feels solid. And then think about loading into this left glute hinge back. Lengthen that left hamstring. Keep the chest pulling forward, but the rib cage drawn in. Big breath in. And standing for 1, 2, 3. Six more. Just take your time with it. Making sure that pelvic floor activation is consistent. Last rep. And rest. Woo. All right, just move the bells off to the side. And we're going to do one more drill for our hip. And it's going to be some hip flexion hovers over a yoga block. Or you could do it over a kettlebell as well. Either way. I'm going to start with my right leg since that was the one that was not working quite so much in that last round of deadlifts. Okay, just sit up as tall as you can. You've got the yoga block next to your right ankle and your hands are right behind you. Just tent your fingertips and try to push away from the floor. Chest is lifted. Take a big breath in and we're going to lift and hover our leg up over the block, controlling it down. You're going to take that exhale as you lift. Inhale and repeat. Just try not to compensate your body's position at all. We're trying to maintain a tall posture. So if you start to feel your body kind of sink in with your chest or rounding your spine, maybe your object is just a little too tall for you today. We do want it to feel pretty challenging to lift over though. So if you're lifting really high over your object, try to find something that you can really just barely hover over while keeping your posture upright. That's where we're going for. We want it to be pretty challenging, as if you could maybe do one more rep. But then you would start to feel that kind of cramping sensation. That's what we're after for this. Okay, take a big breath in, other side. Exhale as you lift. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. 4 more reps. Just take your time with it. Nothing super fancy here going on. Whew, this bum leg of mine is really struggling. 2 more. I got this. I keep telling myself. One more full rep going up and back. Here we go. Back over. And rest. Woo! Burning. Any of you are fans from Clue, the movie? Burning, breathless, heaving flames on the side of my face. That's what those kind of feel like. All right, we're just going to come down onto our backs and we're going to do some pelvic tilts with some gentle pelvic floor activations. So you can put your hands on the sides of your rib cage, splaying your fingers open. You're going to inhale and try to expand the rib cage, let the pelvic floor relax. And then exhale, just gently tilt the tailbone up and engage your pelvic floor gently as you breathe out and the rib cage draws in. Inhale, expand, relaxing the pelvic floor. Exhale. Just go at your own pace. Remember, we don't want the pelvic floor activation to feel like a clenching or super tightening of our pelvic floor muscles. It's a gentle and supportive engagement. One more. And then just relax everything. You're going to bring your feet together and your knees wide apart. Just let your hands come on the sides of your hips and pelvis. And just breathe easy. Don't worry about activating your pelvic floor here. It's stretched open, or it should be in this position. And just try to have a nice, easy inhale that expands your ribcage and belly three-dimensionally. And as you exhale, feeling everything just hug in toward your center. One more nice big breath. Exhale fully out. And then reach your arms out and back behind you, your legs long, just stretching your body out as long as you can. And then you can bend your knees and just hold your knees one in each hand and just circle your knees so your sacrum gently massages into the floor. And then just reverse that for a few little circles. Nice. Awesome. That was a Monday mobility deadlift session. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to try to do these once a week, and I hope that you can follow along and just enjoy these workouts. They're, a good representation of my training style. And if you're looking for coaching, either one-on-one coaching or online programming, reach out to me. I have some slots open. I would love to help you on your fitness journey and just help elevate your strength to new levels, because this kind of training really has long-term effects on your body that are just amazing to see after, months of consistency. Just ask any of my clients. All right. I'll be back next week with another one of these. I hope you guys can tune in. Thanks so much. If you have any questions, just drop them below in the comments and I will try to get back to you. Thanks. Bye.